Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audibles, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumbles, Spreaker, Streaker, you name it. I'm there. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk, formerly or now. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests and series and co-hosts, and today is no exception. I do have in studio for Tuesday Talent someone who has, a very interesting job. It's not everybody who gets to work with memorabilia. And his name is Brad Teplitsky. I don't know if I said that right, but please welcome him to this. Oh, thank you, to the studio today.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Brad.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Harlan says great things about you, and he is my favorite publicist. So he hasn't done me wrong yet in the last, 12 and a half years. So,
yeah, I better not. I have a lot to live up to.
Yeah, don't screw up. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, it's wonderful to have you because this is something that I'm very not well versed in. So I'm excited to get to see, and thank goodness we have cameras in the studio. We actually get to see and talk about things that you could have. If you're a Hollywood fan, today is your day. Before we get started, though, a little good life habit or hashtag Blisscipline that I love to start every single show. We've been doing this about 2 years now into my 12 and a half years, where we start every show with breakfast with my guest. So I'm taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich with you, which means the top of the bun are 8 specific things between the two of us and anyone who's in studio today. Welcome, welcome. You can, if you're driving, please do not chat. But when you get to where you're going, if you go to my YouTube TV channel, you can easily put in your gratitudes. That's the top of the bun. And then the bottom of the bun is, we're going to model for you what you're going to do at night before you go to bed. What do you like about yourself? So it's gratitude turned inwards, or appreciation, because it's my BS, my belief system, that good mental health starts with liking yourself. So that's why we do this good life practice. I sprung this on Brad. I purposely don't tell my guests about this so they're not like overthinking it. But I'll start with, I am grateful to live in Southern California, where it's almost always sunny and I'm solar powered. So I'm grateful for that. What are you grateful for, Brad?
I'm grateful for 2 things. Can I tell you what they are?
Absolutely.
3 things, actually. Number one, and in no specific order of importance, I'm grateful to be on your show.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to be a memorabilia collector and auctioneer.
Great.
And again, take note that this is in no particular order of importance. I'm grateful for my children.
Oh, how many do you have?
I was joking about the the importance of the order. Of course, my kids are the most important thing, and I have 4. And I'm very
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so great. I only have 2.
You have 2?
I only have 2. I do everything once, right? I have an older girl and a younger girl.
How old is your younger girl?
They are 27 and 25.
Very nice.
Yeah, and yours?
They go from 24 to 7.
Wow.
What a range.
Yes, what a range. I guess you like kids. So you
like
have them for a while. The season's still there.
it takes me time to recover each time, even though I don't go through childbirth, labor. It's still like an ordeal, right? So need time to recover and then get ready to go again.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. I'm grateful that the Dodgers won last night.
Yes, amazing.
Amazing, right?
I think
Just
so.
yeah, go Dodgers. I was
You don't
sharing
get to
on my
see, you don't, sorry to interrupt you. You don't get to see stuff like that often. That team, it's unbelievable.
yeah, we just got someone just gave us a finger on that one. The finger is this finger, not the other finger. And thank you for that. Yeah, it's funny. I was never a Dodger fan. I was not a baseball fan. Football, I use football and my expertise in football to get dates in my past when, before I got married, and I'd go fishing on Sunday football, and I would actually know what I was talking about for the game.
Right.
And that always, all the heads would turn, guys. And that's how I got my date.
very
But that's
smart.
TMI. But baseball was not. I moved to LA. Someone said, you got to have a Dodger dog. So I went and had one hot dog, and that was it. And then my bonus dad, who's now 94, huge sports, any kind of sports, and my mom as well, 91, bonus mom. So the two of them kind of roped me into this love for baseball. Dodgers is their team, Ducks is their hockey team. So
are you going to catch any games of the playoff games? Well, you may not be able to now, I guess, right? Because they're back in New York. So if they win,
they're back in New York.
May not get a chance to see one.
No. Yeah. I do have two bobbleheads from
That's good.
I have
getting close.
T.O., which I'm glad I'm keeping, right? Because the value is going to go up the better he does. He's been doing really well. Yeah. And then Yamamoto, who unfortunately is the not the better Japanese person to have as a bobblehead. If I had Ohtani, I could probably retire. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Anyways, we're totally sidetracked here. But that was gratitudes. Lots of things to be grateful for. And
I
then,
will remember those. And when I go to bed tonight to think about the same thing.
Yeah, actually, when you go to bed tonight, I want you to think about what you like about yourself. So it's a little different than gratitude. It's gratitude turned inwards. And the reason why I do this is because a lot of us, the good news is we're focused on mental health in a way that we've never been before. The bad news is we're aware that our mental health is not the best, but we're reaching for things outside of ourselves to make us feel better. So for example, if you want to approve of yourself, the best approval is your own. But a lot of people say, okay, I need a little more approval. So what am I doing? I'm going out into the world on social media looking for likes, literally. And that is a sure way to go crazy with the numbers and up and down and up and down. And it doesn't mean anything anyways. So what I want you to do is exercise your muscle of self-appreciation or self-love, self-care. So what do you like about yourself?
I'll get back. Yeah.
Okay. It's not easy. We're told, don't toot your own horn. Don't brag. You're not all that. As a Chinese woman, I know you thought I was Swedish, but in Chinese and Japanese, there's actually a saying, the nail that stands up is hammered down. So it's really not good to be doing what I'm doing. So in order to be good with it, I have to exercise that, good job, you're awesome. So I will say that I appreciate my ability to be determined. I am determined 88% of the time. 12% of the time, I just want to stay in bed. But 88% of the time, I am determined to continue my Happy 88 mission, 88 million people more 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I appreciate my ability to be as that. And you? What do you like about yourself?
Oh, there's that's hard to say, especially in public, right? That's
Yeah.
all right. As I said, the next time you have me on, hopefully you do, I will have a good answer for that.
Well, actually, I'm gonna push you on this because I believe that you are a person that gives a lot. You're a person that cares a lot, and you're probably quick at complimenting other people, but taking compliments is maybe not your favorite thing to do.
Sure. Not my strong suit.
Okay, so I'm going to make you take that compliment. So what was the last compliment that someone gave you?
The one you just did. The one
okay,
you just gave.
That you're a caring person.
I know, Doc. You're asking before that, a few seconds ago. God, I don't know.
So am I the first person that's told you that you're caring?
No. You actually hit the nail on the head. I am. Yeah.
And can you say that I am a caring person?
Doctor, I am a caring person.
And I love that about myself.
And I love that about myself. It reminds me of the Saturday night sketch oh God, what did he used to do? I can't remember his name. He was a senator from Minnesota. Anyway, he used to be on Saturday Night Live and he used to do this sketch where he said, I love myself, I'm this, I'm that. And he once did it with Michael Jordan. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Well, see, I made you do it, and now you are officially ingested the gratitude sandwich. I hope you continue this good life practice, as anyone who's watching now or later or listening now or later, because it really, it really is. Because then when things go wrong or not the way you want them, you're like, oh, well, that doesn't change who I am. Yeah. So you didn't know you were coming on here for a little coaching, did you?
It's good though. It's a change of pace. I like it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. And now let's get to, oh, wait, I have to appreciate that we just had breakfast together with my guest, Brad Teplitsky, who is the CEO of Studio Auctions. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. And thank you for joining us for breakfast. I promise you that if you continue this good life practice for 28 consecutive days, with or without me on the air, on camera, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. All righty. Now we have lots to talk about. You have a huge show coming up for Studio Auctions that you're going to tell us about. But before we do that, I love to find out, did you know when you were a kid that you would be doing what you're doing right now?
I had no idea what I would be doing now. I didn't give it much thought. I remember wanting to be a fireman when I was younger, and ended up becoming a lawyer, not putting out fires, I guess creating them. Well, I guess lawyers are supposed to put out fires. It's true.
They're supposed to, yeah.
They end up causing sometimes as many problems as they solve. But anyway, I practiced law for many years, and then I started collecting memorabilia. So to answer your question again, no, I had no idea. I in fact didn't know until about 2014 that you could even buy these things, that there was a whole hobby or an industry about collecting Hollywood memorabilia, like props and costumes. And the first time I found out, I received an email. I'd signed up for this auction service to tell me about auctions, and I bought a couple things completely unrelated. And then to this business I'm in now, and I got this email that said a Captain Kirk from the original TV series, William Shatner, one of his shirts, they call it a tunic, was being auctioned off. So that piqued my interest, and from there I got into it. I got hooked.
So
yeah,
I actually spoke on stage with William Shatner for Wells Fargo at the Kodak Theater. I was hired to be a motivational speaker. They had 3 that day, myself, William, and Mark Shriver, Maria Shriver's brother, who was speaking about his children's philanthropy. And William was talking about everything that he does. And this was probably 20 years ago. And the nicest compliment, one of the nicest compliments I've ever gotten is that of all 3 speakers, and I have this in writing, I was the most memorable. and that's saying something considering it was William Shatner. It was the days where I think he was struggling a little bit with
what?
stuff.
I'm sorry.
He was struggling a little bit with stuff. So, but I did see him again last year at the Newport Beach Film Festival. I'm one of the sponsors of the Chinese Spotlight Film, and he was being given an award. And so he walked by me. He looked at me and I said, "You probably don't remember me, but I spoke on stage with you." And he's like, "Oh no, I remember." I think it was just being nice. So he flashed a little piece. So we got a shot there, but there you go. Who knew that this would come around? And now you have one of his tunics.
I did. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately, but I did. I loved it.
Did you sell it?
I did. Yes. I did 2 years ago. Got rid of it, sold it. And
can I ask how much it cost?
That sold for about 100,000, I think. I think about 100,000.
So the stars actually own their wardrobe?
No, Bill doesn't own any of his stuff, as far as I know. He over the years, they came out of the studio through a variety of ways, sometimes properly, sometimes not so properly, came off set at the end of the series, and they passed through various hands. And when people wanted to sell it, they go usually to an auction house, and then someone would buy it. They'd hold on to it for a while, then go back to the same auction house or a different one, and it would get sold again. But I don't think Bill ever owned any, and I don't think any of them had. I'm certain none of them had the foresight or through no fault of their own, the idea that this stuff could be worth anything. I mean, it was cost $5 to make them, and it's just no one thought that these things would become collectibles.
That's interesting. Now, do you find out if it was obtained legally or illegally, anything like that?
No, it's impossible to know, to go all those years back. For example, we're selling in November a phaser from the original series owned by the late Nichelle Nichols, and that was given to her by a prop master. So in that respect, whether he should have or shouldn't have given it to her, there was nothing really improper about that. And she had it for many years. And in fact, she had 2 of them, and I eventually acquired them. And yeah, she was terrific. I don't know if you ever met her.
Yes, I've interviewed her a few times.
Yeah.
And she got mad at me because I asked her how old she was.
Nichelle got mad at you?
Yeah. I mean, in a very
what did you do?
teasing.
I spent a lot of time with her. She was always sweet.
I know. I'm being like sarcastic.
You're joking.
Yeah. Yes. She was pretending to be mad at me because I dared to ask her how old she was.
That's funny.
What
did she say? She pretended to be mad, or was sort of.
She pretended to be mad. I said it in a way. Priscilla Presley actually, told me, and I asked her what the secret was to her, her skin and youth, and she said, "Good lighting."
That's funny.
So I said that to Nichelle. I said, Priscilla says it's lighting, but your skin is amazing. Do you mind if I ask you how young you are? And she just looked at me and said, "I will not reveal my age. How dare you?" She was teasing. She was totally teasing. But she remembered me because when I saw her again, she looked at me and she goes, "You're not going to ask him, are you?" And I said, "I know better."
She remembered that. That's
she so remembered that.
she sometimes had problems with her memory, towards the end of
And
her, towards the end she did. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it was like 2 years after when I did saw her on the carpet again for something else that I interviewed her, and it was saddened me actually when I'd heard about all of the stuff with the conservatorship, and I actually posted and said, I just saw her last year, and unless I don't know intimately, but she was one of the loveliest, sharpest interviewees I'd ever had on the carpet. She knew exactly, what to say, what not to say, and she remembered me. So, but yeah, you probably know more about that and than I
I
do.
know a lot about it. I
Yeah.
know all the details, but she was great to be around, and I spent a lot of time with her. So
Yeah.
I hear Priscilla's nice. I haven't met her.
Yeah.
We have some Elvis stuff coming up, but not till March. So we'll have to tell you about that
Yeah.
if I'm
Well, I
lucky.
hope to get an invite to one of your things.
I would love it if you come. It's November 23rd and 24th. And we love having everyone come who's interested, especially celebs like you. We love having them.
Thank you. Let's go look at some things.
Okay.
So let me go back because there's like a lot of great things here. I'm going to go to my favorite right now, which is this. I just saw this and he was so good. Let's move this in the middle. So tell us about this guy. Did I choose well?
You did. This is a cowl mask, in other words, from the first Deadpool, worn by Reynolds. It's never been to auction before. In fact, no Deadpool cowls that were used, or at least production made, have been to auction. And we're very excited to have this. It's going up for sale, I think, November 24th. It's 2 days, November 23rd and 24th. But I think this one is slated for the 24th. We have a whole superhero, if you could call Ryan's character a superhero or not. He's certainly not a traditional superhero from the Marvel franchise, but it's fantastic. And it's a really cool piece to even touch if you get up close to it. So we think it's going to do really well. And
is there a starting?
I think this one starts at 20 or 30. I don't remember right now.
Okay, 20 or 30,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
Right. All right.
And we also have, although you don't have an image of it because we got it afterwards, a set of guns. They're replica guns, not real guns, so don't worry. That he used in the latest Deadpool, Deadpool 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine. So that's really exciting as well.
Oop. This is a gun, but not that gun.
This is a different gun. This is a Han Solo blaster that we are in the process of authenticating, and from A New Hope, and used by Harrison Ford. And we are in the process of confirming its validity as an actual prop that was used back in the filming of the 1977 movie. And we do that, obviously, all auction houses do, authenticate their items, or they should be anyway. I think they all do. And we speak to experts and we try to screen match, compare the item to what's seen on screen.
It's interesting as you're speaking, like when you first hear about this, like, why would anybody want to spend that much money for something that is like, it seems minor, but I'm getting the answer to my question because when you see these things and you're talking about, Han Solo, and it's like the memories that come back, the nostalgia, the good feeling of another time in your past, in your book of life, that was warm and fun, and I'm a big person on focus. And when you don't like something and you're mad at something, quit looking at it and instead pivot and go to your, I say, turn on the dime of your memories. So you pivot to something in the past that made you feel good. And this is a perfect example when I saw that Han Solo gun. And this is also another great memory. go ahead and tell us about this
Well,
one.
well, it's interesting. Before we talk about this piece, which is also fantastic, at least in my opinion, you mentioned something that I think is right on point. People ask me, why do people collect? Now, some people do it for ego gratification, okay? To say, look, I have this piece and you don't. But a lot of us collect because it brings us back to a different time, maybe one where we were happier, or if not happier than we are now, at least a memory, like you just said, of a happy time, a happy event, a happy occurrence. And that is a lot about what collecting involves with Hollywood props and costumes. And it can be other things as well, other types of collectibles. But for sure, these props and costumes, you think, wow, Superman, I love seeing that movie. I saw it with this person or that person. You might remember where you saw it and how much you were in awe and kept thinking about it afterwards. So this item was worn by the late, great Marlon Brando. It comes from his own personal collection, and it has all the appropriate tagging. And it was from the first Superman. He played Jor-El, Chris Reeves, Superman's father. It's got the big S logo, and it's fantastic. It's coming up for auction in November. Again,
That's
part of our
amazing.
superhero collection.
Yeah, and the continuing to be inspiring story of Christopher Reeves. I just if he were here, I'd give him my Dr. Marissa Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, because he embodies what life and a pain in life is mandatory, but suffering is optional. And what a beautiful symbol of life he is. So just a little aside there. Let's see what else.
He was inspirational. It was hard to watch sometimes, I guess, which is understandable, but he was inspirational.
Yes, for sure. All right.
This item just sold in September in our last auction, and it sold for a little over $100,000. It's one of two wands that were called test wands, and pictures were taken with it of Glinda the witch, the person who played her, with this wand. And what they were doing was they were trying to see how it would present on TV, on film. And they ended up not going with this type of wand, pretty much the same, except that the wand they used had colored rubies or colored gems or stones, rather than just the white ones. And that's why we call it a test wand. It didn't actually make it into filming, but it's still historic, almost 100 years old.
That's amazing. Yeah, it looks like it's had a rough life. It's had a rough life, but it is 100 years old, for goodness sakes. That's amazing that it's even in this good shape. And of course, with the whole movie coming up that I'm very excited about.
Sorry. I was going to say that Oz, in the collecting industry hobby, Oz, not for everyone, but for some, it's a big coveted movie to own an item from.
Yeah, there's another shot of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's a collectible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see. I love that I get to pick the ones that I like, because there's a lot of photos, which is great.
So this hasn't been to auction before, and it's the body armor and helmet worn by Robert Downey Jr. playing Stark, Iron Man. And this was, I believe, Civil War movie from the Avengers. And it's going up. Never been to auction, I think, as I mentioned. We're starting it at $100,000. We expect it to go past $150,000. And we've never seen armor from Iron Man like this at an auction. So again,
sure,
it's another featured piece, and we're excited. It lights up as well.
Wow. Yeah. I can imagine if someone who has like money to spend, if this would be a really great Halloween outfit for sure.
Wouldn't you feel safe wearing this if you got into this? Wouldn't you feel like no one could
no? Any guy that is going to bid on that, I want to meet if they're single.
Well, you should come over to our office and try it on, or at least have a
Well,
picture.
that would be cool. Yeah, and
Do a show from
get
there.
some B-roll from there. That would be
Right.
pretty amazing. Let's see. This is a beautiful watch.
This is a watch, a mega watch, 1955, given to Marlon Brando for his birthday by Marilyn Monroe. They, as many people know, were together for a period of time. I think on and off, starting in the 1950s, and it's inscribed to Marlon on the back.
Wow, that is pretty cool.
That's very, very cool.
Yes. Let's go to Brooke Shields has a number of things.
Yes, Brooke. So those are the famous jeans, which I still struggle with. It's the motto was, or the mantra was during the commercial, nothing gets between me and my Calvins. And that has, innocent and perhaps less innocent connotations. But Brooke held on to them. She's consigned them to us, and we're thrilled, honored about that, to have her as one of our clients. And that goes up for auction on November 23rd. I think it's our last item of the day for that auction, the first of the 2 days. So do you remember that commercial? Do you remember it at all? Or?
Yes, I do. Okay. Without, I'm hashtag ageless though, so I should say no. But so is she what is it starting at?
This is starting at 20,000.
20,000. Okay.
We expect it to hit at least 50,000. Are you bidding? Are you going to bid? Do you thinking about bidding?
No, if you talk to any of my friends, I think I own like 2 pairs of jeans, and they were bought because we had to perform when I was in the choir with jeans. And the other one is not really jeans. It's a fashion statement that I've been wearing. I'm not a jean person. So, and I've not met or interviewed Brooke. I'm sure she's lovely, but if I were going to buy jeans, it would be someone that I knew and, was,
okay. All right. Well, you only have 2 pairs. You said you don't wear them often. So why don't you meet Brooke and then buy them? Got to buy something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Are these all the same? Oh, this one's a little bit Brooke, different. Yeah. Okay. So this is the pair in the commercial.
Yes. And she's selling other items. We're auctioning off. Beside Brooke in that picture is her high school cheerleading sweater, cheerleading sweater.
Oh, I see that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's for sale.
Okay. Let's see that. She's got this here. Now, do you know why she's selling all this?
I think she wanted to make room, and I don't know. I think her children weren't necessarily interested in keeping some of those items. Okay. So Brooke said it's time to let it go.
Yeah. Let it go. Yeah. Yeah. How young is she?
How young is she now, or was she then?
No, now.
I don't know how old she is now. She was 14 when she did the Calvin Klein commercial. 14. Yeah,
Yeah, she's 59 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just did.
She looks great.
She looks phenomenal. Yeah, her besides the jeans, the whole story of her mom. I had Corey Feldman on my show several times, and we're actually him and his wife, Courtney, and the similar story around the parents forcing them to work was a tough one. So
there's a documentary there about that. I haven't watched it yet, but there is
right. So let's see. Here's I guess that's not sideways. That is
no, that's the right. So that was sold in September, and this is a sketch collage done by Rick Carter. Now, who's Rick Carter? Rick Carter is in Hollywood a famous production designer. He's worked on many Steven Spielberg films, Robert Zemeckis as well. So this was a concept he did relating to Back to the Future 2, and showing what a hoverboard might look like. And that person is riding a hoverboard. A hoverboard's like a skateboard, but it hovers in the air. And you see that. It's a really important prop from the movie and for collectors. So Rick, in this, he's an Academy Award winner too. So he was at our last auction. We sold some of his items and we're selling some more in November. So this was his sort of sketch collage about what the future might look like with someone on a hoverboard riding in the air.
Wow, that's so cool. And I just looked at the time. We need to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic. We'll be right back. Today, my very special guest is CEO of Studio Auction, Brad Teplitsky. We'll be right back. Don't go away. As Chuck Woolery used to say, we'll be back in 2 and 2. What I say is we'll be back. Peace in and peace out.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News, and NBC Sports, home to the Asian Oprah. Let's see, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And here for 652 consecutive weeks now. That's over 12 and a half years. Thank you very much, Brad. And still ticking. And those who said I wouldn't last a year, go figure. Good news. And I don't talk about anything that anybody else is at this particular moment because you can get it there. They're all talking about the same thing. 99% of it is negative. If it bleeds, it leads. And there's so much good that's happening around the world. And I love to bring new people, new ideas, new topics. And this is certainly my first time looking at auctions and studio auctions, the memorabilia from Hollywood that bring back that loving feeling. And my very special guest is the CEO of Studio Auctions. His name is Brad Teplitsky. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you, Doctor. This is fun. This is terrific. Thank you.
Great. You can tell I love affirmations and all of that. So, all right, we were going through and we will let's first of all, let me pull up your site so you guys can know how to get to the information that we are talking about right now. And the upcoming auction, is this showing it properly? Nope, it's not. So let me, are we seeing it? Nope, I don't know why it's not doing that. Okay, no worries.
StudioAuctions.com. There it is. We're just updating it literally as we speak for the November auction, and it's going to be online by tomorrow.
Perfect. Perfect. But you see the date, save the date, November 23rd and 24th, which is right before Thanksgiving, I believe. Yeah. A good way to shop before Thanksgiving. Marlon Brando, we showed the Robert Downey Jr. Oh, there's a shield as well. So, and then the Batman. So we can look at that. Let's see where I was. Here, this is what I want to do, is share this tab. Are we at Rick again?
Yes, that's Rick Carter's.
Perfect.
He's such a great guy, you know.
Yes. Now we're going to go to a big, this is a big item. It's a little bit interesting. You go ahead and explain it.
Well, this is more on the morbid side, but very interesting, very celebrity driven. This is the Crypt in a cemetery in Los Angeles. And the one with the flowers, the pink, that's closest in the image, is currently occupied by the late Marilyn Monroe. And she's been there since her passing, I think was it 62, 63. And beside her, interestingly enough, is Hugh Hefner. Now, if you remember, I think Marilyn was the first Playboy bunny for Hugh. And Hugh chose to be buried beside her. So he's right next to her. He wanted to have that.
This one.
He wanted to have what, sorry?
This one. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah, that's right. I can see it there. That is Hugh there. So you've got Hugh, you've got Marilyn, and beside Hugh, it's the other wall facing it at a right angle. Do you see the open one?
Yep.
Same level?
Yep.
So that one is empty, and it's ready, willing, able, and ready for anyone when they feel the time is right, to occupy that crypt. And, think about it. This is the pitch, right? You can be buried for eternity beside Hugh and 2 away from Marilyn and have all that company when people come visit Hugh, Marilyn, and you, of course. Not you, doctor, but the person who bids successfully the winner for that crypt. And it's been empty the whole time, obviously. And so we're selling that. We're auctioning it off. It's not the first time a crypt from this cemetery has been auctioned, and but this is the closest one, I believe, that's ever been auctioned to Marilyn Monroe.
So I'm trying to remember. I have great memory, but my recall sucks. But I did have a guest who, I don't know if it's this crypt, but they were also auctioning it off because the person decided to sell it because they were going to go somewhere else, decided they wanted to be somewhere else. And I'm trying to think if it was Doty Danigan that was telling me that, or the goddaughter. Oh, it was the goddaughter.
It might have been Jane.
Yes, it was Jane.
It was the goddaughter of Jerry Herman. And that was Jerry Herman's crypt. He's was a well-known Broadway producer, and I should have brought that up. I'm glad you did. And his family decided on his passing that he would be buried, interned somewhere else. And I think it might not even necessarily in California. So this was his crypt, and he was very known. I think he did Guys and Dolls.
Yes, he did. Doris Day, Carol Channing, Bernadette Peters, there's a couple more. They were all known as Jerry's Girls.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Did you know about? I didn't know much about him until this came to us. Did you know about him at all?
Well, because she was on my show, and
before Jane was on your show, had you heard about Jerry?
Well, no. Well, obviously I knew. Oh, Angela Lansbury also was a Jerry's girl. So Mame, Hello Dolly, the one you mentioned, all of those were his. And so I had no idea until the interview, and I was blown away. And then she brought this up as it's going to be auctioned off. And I had a similar picture to this, but not exactly the same picture. Certainly not to the detail of this.
Right.
So I love how things.
Wasn't she a great guest?
She was amazing. She was so darling. Actually, she probably called you right after the interview because we tried to pull this up on your site and we couldn't find it.
I heard about that, and we have to get it up. That's part of the updating that we're doing. And she said, "Where's the link? What are you doing?" So yeah, so that'll be up tonight.
That's my fault because I tried to.
Oh no, it's good you did.
I love my life. I love the way. I mean, how many points of connection have we had now? I just love that.
Had Bill, Jane, Bill Shatner, Jane, Nichelle.
Nichelle, yeah, that's like, come on. What are the? I call them hashtags.
I learned when I'm not from LA originally, but I learned when I was out there that everything there is like 2 degrees of separation. It's not 6, not 5 or 3. It's 2 at the most.
Yeah.
So
mine is 1. I mean, my life is hashtag #accidental, right? Not accidental.
Right.
And I call it what caught moments. We had 3 or 4 what caught moments. What are the chances of that? And that's my life. I love my life. That's why I say that a lot.
Do you run into celebrities a lot? Do you, I mean, outside of your show, do you like seeing them? Do you get starstruck?
Sorry, I keep pressing the wrong thing because I
Yeah,
want.
I've lost you a couple times. I was just
Yeah,
asking, do you ever get starstruck?
no.
No? Okay.
And that's, I think somebody else asked me that just yesterday. And the reason why you lose me is because I'm trying to go to the next picture and I'm hitting the wrong button.
All right.
I'm hitting out of the
Don't lose
studio.
me.
At least I know how to get back in.
Okay.
But yeah, the reason why I am not starstruck, I think, is the reason why I am successful when I do interviews, is because they're just people. They're brilliant people. They're great actors. They're great musicians, and I love, you know, the conversation. But everyone, all 8 billion of us on the planet, have unique talents, gifts, and abilities. That's my BS. That's my belief system. And so everyone is interesting to me because I want to know what their unique talent, gift, and ability is. And so I think that's why I have the reputation that I do. That's why I'm one of the best compliments I get is people who've been on Larry King Live, Ellen, you know, you name it, my honorable moniker, Oprah. By the way, they call me the Asian Oprah because I was introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah. So I didn't call myself that, which is kind of cool too. So
that's a good moniker.
It is. It's great. And they tell me that they loved being interviewed by me the most.
That's very
which
nice.
is a huge compliment.
That's
because
huge.
they've been on giant, you know, platforms, and I don't have that desire to.
It's because you're genuine and grounded, and you're not, you know, pandering as much. Larry King, may he rest in peace, was a bit of a panderer, and you know, sometimes it was hard to watch because he had these most amazing guests in the world. Right, everyone wanted to be on his show. But he wouldn't ever challenge them, not in a nasty way, but with a tough question. And I was always like, you know, you could have asked this or that. But anyway, that's my thing about Larry.
Yeah. And you know, and he had unique talent, gifts, and abilities too. So it's like I one of the things that I when people say, how could I be happier? One of the things that I immediately say is spend less time doing this. I call it MS, meaningless scrolling. And you lose so much time that you're never going to get back. And you're learning about people that really, in the whole framework of your life, does it really matter who got divorced? Does it really matter who cheated? Does it really matter? Like what positive impact does that have on your life? You know, what, you're the first one to know something, to call someone with information that's negative about someone else. I mean, come on. So that's usually my first step.
Ask yourself why so many people, I'm not saying I'm exempt from that at all, do it though, right? Why do so many of us are married to our phones and social media? I stayed off social media entirely until I started in this business because you have to be connected. But
I do too. You know, I'm that's why my show's called Take My Advice. I'm not using it, but my qualification is I post once a day, maximum twice, and I'm a giver. I don't read. I don't even, like, my team is like, you have to respond when someone gives you a compliment. You can't just leave it there. And it's like, I don't have time.
Are you going to post about this interview podcast? Are you going to tell people how this was probably one of the best you've ever had?
Well, I don't know. I'd have 1,200 people not very happy with me. But you are definitely the best best auction CEO I've ever had on the show. How's that?
Thank you.
You're the number one. You're
That's
the one and only.
I know.
All right. We have just a little time left. Is there anything that I didn't cover that you would like to talk about? I'm going to bring back up your.
Well, there's so much. I mean, we have generally smaller auctions than some of the other auction houses, and we try and personalize with the consigners their items, give them the attention that they deserve. We're very proud because we're the official auction house of the Motion Picture and Television Fund, which is a charity that provides affordable accommodations for people who are retired in the film industry, not just the people in front of the camera, but people behind the camera. And we're auctioning off some more Mary Pickford, star of the silent genre, items in November. We auctioned off a few items of hers in September. And coming up in November, we have a couple of interesting pieces of her own furniture. And so if you're interested in that era, please, that's another reason to come see us at studioauctions.com. So we're thrilled to have them as a consigner, and just happy to have people learn about our auction house. We are relatively new. We've been in business for just over a year, but we've made a tremendous amount of progress in that time. And speaking of gratitude, we're just very grateful for this opportunity to be with you today. And whenever we get a chance to reach out to customers or potential customers, or just people who are interested in the hobby, learning more.
Absolutely. Here's a picture of, I did meet him. I have not interviewed him, but I've interviewed half of the cast of, let's see, where is it here now? I just had it. Here it is. Shit, this tab.
Oh, Henry. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had Potsy on the show 3 times. I've had Ralph Malph on the show twice. My favorite is Mrs. Cunningham. She came at the age of 89 when I had my studio at Sunset Gower. I had her on again at 92. And so Henry's next. But I'm just
great. I love the show. I grew up on it. And
so did I.
Meeting him was a thrill. He's known to be a very nice guy, and he's
very nice. I have a picture with him, but I did not get to interview him yet.
Well,
so for everyone who may have just joined us, please go watch the beginning, middle, and end of this great interview with Brad. He is the CEO of Studio Auctions. November 23rd and 24th, one of those days, I will be there to witness all of these great things. He said that I can actually wear Robert Downey Jr.'s outfit. We'll see how that looks. But if you are at all a memorabilia person, if you're new or old and you would like to see any of these items from Marilyn Monroe's crypt or near her crypt to Superman to Iron Man to Brooke Shields and Calvin Klein, this is where you're going to be. Everything's online too if you don't want to travel. It's November 23rd and 24th. More information, go tomorrow to this website that's currently being updated called studioauctions.com. I want to thank you so much, Brad, for being a guest on this show. I know that you have another interview starting very soon, but thank you so much. Could you do this with me? I end every show this way. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live, always trying to balance out the bad news with good news. We'll see you tomorrow with my special series, Doctors in the House, with Dr. Marissa and Dr. Tiffany Tate. But for now, go and have the best day ever. Thank you so much, Brad.
Thank you.
It was a blast.